First, I'm going to explain to you guys how to go from the research question to a thesis statement using either a bubble map or your research question. I'm going to tell you that the method I prefer is the bubble map. I just think it sets you up more efficiently to be ready to write the rest of your paper and to do your outline. So my encouragement is that you use this one, but I will provide you with this one too, just in case that, much like the rest of America, in the time that we've been quarantined, I binged Tiger King in roughly 26 hours. And so I'm going to use the basis of Tiger King as my thesis. Obviously you don't get that choice, but I needed to come up with an example to give you some instructions, and I didn't want to use any of the topics that you're already using. Okay, for option 1, I am going to explain how to go from your research question to your thesis using the way the sentence is phrased. So when I explained to you guys how to write your research question, I basically explained it that you had 3 parts. The I am studying, so that's your topic. The in order to find out, so what are you looking to research? And the in order to help my reader understand. So I'm going to call those 1, 2, and 3. So in this one, my research question is that I am studying the effects of big cat zoos on animal rights movements in order to find out whether keeping tigers in captivity is or is not a problem to help my reader understand whether to support them. It's a bit wordy. So number 1 is the effects of big cat zoos on the animal rights movements. That'll be teal. Number 2, in order to find out whether keeping tigers in captivity is or is not a problem. And number 3, make that black, to help my reader understand whether to support them. So one way that you can go from a research question to a thesis. So you want to think in big terms about what is the answer to this question, and you're looking for one sentence. So you're trying to condense what you want to explain based on the research that you have found and how you feel about it in one sentence. So I am going to suggest that you can combine 1 and 3 and then follow it with because of what you found out for 2. I would say at this point in your writing, when you write a thesis, you want to start with your topic and end with 3 reasons why. There may be more than 3 reasons why, but I would aim for 3 big reasons that then you can prove with smaller reasons, because that structures your whole paper. So if I am turning this into a thesis, I want to state it in a way that is my answer to that. So I'm going to put 1 and 3 together. So the effects of big cat zoos on animal rights, and should I support them? So I'm going to say I actually prefer option 2, and sometimes I think option 2 feels a little bit elementary, but I still use it to this day, honestly. I might have like an overly complicated bubble map, but I just find it to be the most efficient at taking a lot of jumbled thoughts and putting them together. If I have the same research question, let me bring that back. My topic I'm going to take and put in the middle. And I'm going to call that big cat culture and animal rights. So then what I'm going to do is think about the whole collection of research that I have done. Honestly, I have done less research on this topic than you should have done on yours at this point, because you should have researched at least 4 sources on your topic. Mine is currently, the sources are Tiger King, the documentary, and The Atlantic, The Guardian, an article about tigers in captivity. So you should have a whole lot more to say about this than I do. I am just using this as an example. So I'm going to think about, what have I learned about big cat culture and animal rights, and what do I actually want to say about it? So you want to think here about, are you arguing for this thing or against it? And what is the point that you want to make? One thing that stood out to me from the movie was that these leaders of these zoos kind of glamorize lawlessness. So it creates a whole culture around being socially deviant. I'll draw a bigger line here. Another thing I noticed was that there's a lot of emphasis in terms of how it affects animal rights on baby cats. People want to pet the baby cats, and so they breed a lot of cats so that they always have baby cats, but then they don't really know what to do with the big cats, and so there's a population problem. And then a third thing I noticed was that it gets into politics, and there's a manipulation of politics. Because they let people pet the cats, and then people feel guilty because they're like, well, I pet that cat, so I must be part of the problem. So they bring the cats to the legislature. So these would be 3 main topics, and then what I would do is, at that point, the stuff that, these are overarching topics. The things that would branch off of here, these are your research. These are pieces of information from your research. And you can use any pieces of information from any of your research in any of these paragraphs. So you don't have to condense all of your research from one source into one paragraph. It actually makes more sense for you to think about what are the topics that I am going to talk about in the sections of my paper, and then what information from the sources do I need to use in that paragraph to prove that point. So let's take this one, because I looked up some actual facts for this one. So, to go from this bubble map to a thesis, basically then this is going to be the first part of my sentence, and these are going to be the 3 points at the end of my sentence. So, big cat culture has impacted the animal rights movement by glamorizing lawlessness, manipulating legislation, and inflating the domestic cat population. Now, I may want to move those around when I actually go write my paper, because I might find that, like, this point about inflating the cat population is important, but it's not the most interesting one. So I might find that the most bang for my buck is this one. But whatever order these are in, that's the order those paragraphs should be in. So if I want this to be the first point that I make, I'm going to move that to be the first because point here. So I can do that as I write my paper.